The year was 1995. There was a VCR in every home. Music was still bought in record stores. And the world was buzzing about a brand new invention called the Internet.
Watch out!
Which up until then, sucked. What most people don't know is it was impossible to buy anything online. No! Until these two idiots came along.
Tits are good. Tits are real good.
Yeah.
I like them, right? Tits are good?
I love
boobs, tits, breasts.
How old are you again? Did you just recently had an experience with tits?
No. You start from day one going, wow, these things are awesome. And then later you like them for completely different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
At least healthy people, unlike you with your big lactating Big Black Mamas magazines.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
As long as they're big and lactating, that's all I care about, all right?
Especially the lactating.
Yeah.
We're talking about middlemen, sort of, not really. And the reason,
getting around to it.
The reason I started this review this way is because it's got lots of boobs.
Yeah.
It's like Goodfellas meets
Friday the 13th?
No. Meets Breastman, if you ever saw that, or probably more accessibly Boogie Nights.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like all these movies are throwbacks to older movies. Middleman is definitely it's Goodfellas, except it's all about the internet porn industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the guys who got it kicked off.
Whoever
which is badass.
I never would have thought that there was an interesting story to be told about that. You know what I mean? Like porn's been around for so long. I figure by the time it got to the internet, it had kind of worked out. Like the mob stuff to where it was just already a functioning entity. You know?
Well, let's be clear about something. This movie is inspired by a true story.
Oh, fair enough.
So it ain't based. It ain't written around.
Cyrus is over here thinking he created internet porn because he looked at so much of it and started spreading around to his friends. I invented that shit. All right.
It was if I believed in that whole what I believe in, reality has changed.
Those were my black and white titty scans. All right.
No, there were no naked girls around when I was first discovering internet porn for me to film.
They're naked guys? What are you talking
there
about?
were no naked anything.
All right, so this movie is about who you got as your Ray Liotta. Would you say he's the Ray Liotta character?
Yeah, I mean,
Luke Wilson?
he is, but not really.
Not really.
I mean, because keep in mind, Goodfellas is about real criminals all the way through. I mean, Ray Liotta is a hardened criminal. He wants to be a hardened criminal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He enjoys it, and his whole downfall is because he gets addicted to substances that make him lose his touch, lose his grip on stuff. And here, you've got a guy who's just Joe Normal. He is a nice guy. It's Luke Wilson. It's Luke Wilson playing Luke Wilson. You know,
well, see, the thing is,
sorta.
The thing is, I know a lot of people will compare this to Goodfellas, which is, it's
because it's a rise and fall crime story.
It is, but I think about it more like Casino. To where, which is the same.
I watch Casino. I'm
know.
like, it's just Goodfellas.
It's the same movie, but I think it's a better analogy only because Vegas the porn industry on the internet is kind of the same as Vegas.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's got that same kind of glitz going on that Casino did, and which is very different from the way Goodfellas was represented.
Well, that is the thing. Like when you watch Goodfellas, it's interesting to watch these mobsters come together. And when you watch Casino, or something about Vegas, you're like, damn, I wish I was one of those guys. That looks like fun. Mm-hmm. Well, and here with this, Luke Wilson, I guess he's more like a sharp businessman. He knows he's a problem solver.
He's the brains.
Yeah, he gets called out for like somebody's like, look, I'm having a problem with my business. What can you do? He flies out there, turns everything around for people.
He's slick in the competent business way, not slick in the whole like sleazy businessman way at all. And
he's not a fuck up.
Even at the point where everything is as corrupt as it's going to get in this movie, he's never really the sleazy businessman guy. He's always just that guy's like, hey man, I'm just trying to do the best job I can here for this business.
Right. Trying to fix the business,
trying to make some
family.
Money. Yeah.
And
back
he gets
in Texas.
drawn into all this because of Giovanni Ribisi, and I guess Gabriel Macht was the guy who played
the other
character.
Guy?
I think
because I say his name all the time. And I didn't realize he was that other guy.
Yes,
that's
Gabriel
Macht,
who are two crazy guys who come up with accident internet porn. Who literally, I'm sick of these pictures that download so slow, and there's no place to go to get it. So they start just uploading other people's porn to one place and creating pay sites and invent the internet credit card swipe.
Right, and that was the biggest thing ever. It's like, wait, I can watch porn with just my credit card?
Yeah.
That was the money.
Build anonymously where nobody knows?
I mean, that that alone, if they had left porn right then and there and just copyrighted that, what they had, they would have been billionaires many, many times over.
Oh yeah, just the thought of like, wow, I've used that thing, and this is the guy who invented it. Wow.
Yeah. This dumbass coke addict.
Yeah. Why can't I have dumbass coke addicts as friends coming up with shit like that? I mean, really? Because what are they doing? They're hanging out at the house the whole day. They got nothing but time to think every once in a while. But you got this guy here who just comes up with this way of taking your credit card information and getting your money. I mean, wow. Where? I need new friends.
They weren't entirely different from the mutants that I was around in Virginia, really, except that we didn't have like half-naked girls and billions of dollars floating around.
Well, that's the thing. Like movies like this and Rain Man, they make all the coke addicts and retards look bad because it's like, hey, these guys know how to turn this into something. What are you doing other than drooling on yourself?
Oh, dude,
and spending all your rent money.
I can only imagine if, like, this whole situation, if like you were to introduce Scarface into this whole thing where he, this is his deal, and he's like, oh, you want to make some money, man? It's real simple, man. You first you get the internet, and then you get the women, and then you get the power, and then you get the women again, and then you buy yourself a big hot tub bath, and watch TV and watch pelicans fly all day. That's what you can do, man.
Google, what the fuck is that? Fuck that. Get some more titties.
Well, now you say that, but they do sort of have Scarface come in the form of the Russian mob.
Yeah.
Because these guys are idiots.
And it's headed by that one guy who
plays nothing but Russian mobsters.
Well, it was that guy. He also played a bum. He was the first guy to see Batman in his costume. He's the guy. I think it's the same guy. It's like he goes, "Oh, nice coat," or Batman tells him, "Oh, nice coat."
Was he that guy?
Yeah, he was like he played the bum.
Because I'm so used to him. Like I remember him back from like Mighty Joe Young and all these, but he always plays a Russian. Usually a Russian.
Yeah, he's
mobster.
actually Croatian, but hey,
but yeah, we don't know the difference.
Yeah, what's the difference? He's like, hey, we need somebody to play the bad guy who's foreign.
Eastern European, Russian, same thing.
That's that guy. And sure enough, I mean, these guys are like, where are we? They do. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? They go, we're doing all this, we're making all this money from this porn, but we need to start coming up with our own porn. Where can we find girls? Oh, well, there's a strip. Let's just go to a strip club and see if we can make a deal. It's like 2 seconds they're in the door, they realize that this place is run by a nasty fucking guy you do not want to fuck with, Russian mafia, and they still are trying to make the deal. You're like, are you? Come on, man. You're in where they were in L.A., right?
Well, they were. Like, wasn't it Vegas at the time?
Was it Vegas at the time? I'm not even sure. But either way,
it might have been L.A.
There's other options. Seriously, go to the next strip club. Seriously, deal with the Denmark mafia or something. They're just not as bad.
Well, I mean, these guys are pretty much like Beavis and Butthead incarnate, and just with a little bit of know-how and how to work with what they're building here.
Idiot savants.
Yeah, exactly. They're idiot savants. And Giovanni Ribisi, I swear, when they introduced his character, I was like, wow, I didn't know Hunter S. Thompson invented internet porn. Wow. But
I gotta say, man, Giovanni Ribisi is one of those guys where, like, when he first came on the scene, I was like, oh, I like this guy. And then he got annoying to me real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even like when he was trying to be or wasn't trying to be, I'm like, I'm just sick of him and his Scientology ass.
Yeah.
But boy, he shined in this movie.
He did.
Him and Gabriel Mock. They were a great team.
But they were. Like, it was like every time they were on screen, it was like, what are they going to say next? I just want to hear what has been written for them to deliver.
Yeah. Are they likable? Not in a real world sort of way. You'd never get anywhere near them.
No.
But they were funny to watch.
Yeah, I thought their chemistry was great. And the only thing about this movie is I wish there was more of them. Because, I mean, you kind of follow them at the beginning, but you kind of lose track at them during the middle of it.
I think they cut them off at a point where it would have strained it. It would have strained reality.
I thought there was just enough of them for the humor's sake.
Let me get this straight. You go to the website.
Are you making fun of me?
No. You start your thing, right? You finish. You clean yourself off. You go to the filing cabinet. You take out your checkbook.
It's like
and
a subscription to a magazine. It's like a subscription to a magazine. People do that all the time. Yeah, they send it in checks.
Or money order. They go to the bank and get a money order.
Credit cards.
A credit card. Who's going to give you their credit card?
I don't know.
They're going to punch in the numbers.
Why are you being so negative?
I'm not being negative.
Why are you being so negative?
There is no program for that. What do you?
People do it with magazines all the time.
You swipe your credit card in the computer.
No, you dial it in. It's zeros and ones. Why are you being so negative?
There is no program for that.
Why are you being so negative?
But ultimately, this movie's about Luke Wilson, you know.
And man, I don't think anybody in the world has benefited from Owen Wilson's attempted suicide like Luke Wilson has. Jeez. Because suddenly he's been getting a lot more roles and been given a chance to show that, like, hey, I can actually act. Because I was really down on Luke Wilson for a while. I was like, he's just another bland, pretty boy, and he can't carry anything. Like old school. Yeah. The movie starts out being about him, and somewhere in the middle, Todd Phillips, I think is the director, just went like, wow, this guy's got nothing.
Oh, I know.
Switch to Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn, because these guys in the movie.
Yeah.
But now with this, I'm like, you know, he carried this pretty well. I was interested in his character. He totally did. Throughout the movie.
He's an interesting guy because he is a nice guy. I mean, I heard some people saying there's no one to root for in this film. I was like,
kidding?
How can you not be rooting for him? He is a completely likable guy.
I have no interest in making a living creating porn. I have a family. I don't want to be a pornographer. So if I come on board, I want this to be a legit business, 100%.
I understand. I couldn't agree with you more.
You two figured out a way to take a credit card from somebody anywhere in the world and deliver a product anywhere in the world, and neither side ever sees each other?
That's correct.
We just need to figure out a way to facilitate a transaction between the two parties. If I'm a customer and I get my credit card statement at the end of the month and it says something like...
BigTits.com.
Right. I might have buyer's remorse because my wife's not going to be very happy. But if it says something like 24/7 billing company...
I like that.
Nobody knows what that means. It's safer for everybody involved. It's a win-win situation. The consumer gets what they want, the content provider get what they want, and we make 10% by handling the transaction. We're just the middlemen.
He makes mistakes, yes, but he also pays. They're not like, wow, what an idiot type of mistakes.
Right.
They're really like, okay, I can see
it's those
doing
mistakes
that.
where you go like, I totally probably would have done that.
I mean, and his biggest mistake is probably taking the phone call from James Caan in the first place, who is a local ne'er-do-well lawyer who the two crazy guys who invented the internet porn contact looking for help because the mob is basically beating the shit out of him going, we want our money. And so he comes in, gets to help out ostensibly James Caan and these boys, figures out that Caan is under being looked at by the FBI and says, well, we need to cut this guy out of this deal. It's like, let's just pay him off, say thank you for here's your finder's fee, and go on, which is the worst decision he possibly could have made.
Well, but it makes sense when you first look at it. You're like, hey, this guy's kind of bad news. We don't need him involved.
You don't need to get involved in the first place. James Caan's like, I was in The Godfather, motherfucker.
This movie is definitely the snake in the grass. It's just like, he's like, you know what? You shouldn't be trusting this guy. You shouldn't have anything to do with him. So, I mean, I was waiting him to pop back out, but I was just happy to see James Caan working again. I was like, wow, I can't remember the last movie I actually saw him in. But
well, wasn't he on that show, Vegas, right?
Yeah. Oh, probably.
Yeah, I heard really good things about him on there, but I never saw it either. I know it had the one season ender where apparently there was a big conflict on the roof of a casino, and then the one evil character just got blown off the roof by the wind. I was like, okay, that's so retarded that it's kind of awesome. But this is one of those films that like there's a lot of people who have like nice little cameos in here. There's a wonderful moment with Kelsey Grammer.
Oh yeah,
which is unfortunately they spoil in the trailers.
They do spoil it. They totally spoil the trailer, and it's that kind of thing where like it didn't even really need to be in the movie. It could have been taken out, but it's just fun when you watch it.
Oh yeah, Terry Crews has a small role in here. Always like seeing him.
He's actually got an important role, even though it's small.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of lines, but he is
he's very germane to the plot.
No, you're right. He is. Kevin Pollak is in here as I guess he's FBI guy.
He was great. Yeah. I was actually happy to see him too in a movie. I was like, when's the last time that poor guy worked?
Yeah, well, like the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards.
But he was great though. Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been sad to see Jessie Jane appear, even if it's for 2 seconds. So.
I loved her cameo in Entourage.
But I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about this movie other than like it was a completely satisfying experience, and I would give it full price. I really don't even have anything bad to say about it.
No, I don't either. This is part 2 of our
of Austin Critics Suck. We came out all like, man, I love this movie, and what was some of the other guys who we're not going to name were like, that's the most boring movie I've ever seen about porn in my life.
It's like what?
I was like, what were you watching?
Yeah, I thought it was really exciting. I mean, fucking gripping. It had like lots of fun twists. I thought they totally did a great job making the ending work, make you feel like it was, because so many times these films you're like at the ending, even with Goodfellas a little bit, I felt disappointed. I was like, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great movie. It's one of the greatest movies ever. But there was a point I was like, I just wanted more with Goodfellas. I was like, I felt like he could have gone a little bit longer.
I'm about to whack him.
or something.
Leon.
And this, I was like, you know what? You ended it at exactly the perfect place, and you brought us to a point that I felt, was natural. When the thing happens to save our hero, I was just laughing and applauding in the theater. Going,
Don't spoil it.
Great.
Yeah, I got to say that it does two things that I love more than anything. And one, it gets a character into an unwinnable situation that he has to think himself out of.
Yeah.
And the other thing is it has just such great, funny, clever dialogue throughout it.
You're right. Yeah. I remember we were talking about that after, and that's the thing. That's the one saving grace about this film too, is that the dialogue is real witty and clever. I enjoyed the plot of it. I know a lot of people are comparing it to Goodfellas right now. I mean, and a lot of people are saying that it's nowhere near as good as Goodfellas. And I wasn't really expecting it to be. Honestly, I had no kind of
that came out of nowhere. Who would expect that?
Yeah, and I had no really expectations about this film because, I mean, it is kind of a low budget film, isn't it? I mean, it's not even getting that big of a distribution.
Yeah, it's not.
So, and I could tell there were some limitations due to its budget, I think, because to me it felt like there was a bigger film that could have happened with this, but I was fine with what they gave me, and I thought the whole plot was interesting enough to where it held my interest, and it didn't really bore me, honestly, because honestly, it is a character piece more than anything, and it's pretty fascinating, just to realize that, wow, when this whole internet porn thing was going on, I was around too, and I was there watching it grow, because I was watching a lot of things grow while this was happening, but no, I mean, great performances. Wasn't bored for a minute. And Luke Wilson, honestly, this is the first time I've seen Luke Wilson really carry this movie on his shoulders. I mean, his character was the one thing that really kept me involved in just seeing how he was going to outsmart everyone, which is what I dug.
Well, you really felt like as an audience member, you could really, he was your avatar. You wanted to live through him. Partially because he always had boobs in his face.
There is that.
That's not like, I want to be this guy. I see this. I want to, This is not, okay, don't get us wrong. This is not as good as Goodfellas.
No,
come on.
Because I realized in hearing all this, someone's going to say, they're saying this is right up there. No. Goodfellas is a one-of-a-kind film in a lot of ways, even compared to Casino.
Yes,
which is like,
Casino too.
You go, wow, Casino is nowhere near as good as Goodfellas. Somebody's going to give me shit about that.
I would even fight you on that. This is not the time
We're both about to fight you. We got 2x4s too.
But this is not in that same category. But it is a Goodfellas type of film.
Sure.
And there are so many of them out there, and most of them aren't real good.
That's
this
the thing.
one
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, this is one of many films that copies that formula, but this one just does it so much better than all the rest of the imitators.
Yeah, it does. And that being an imitation, I'm going to give it a matinee. Really? Only because, as much as I liked it, it's one of those things where I do think about Goodfellas. And, I definitely think during the middle, there could have been a little bit more going on, too, just to hold my interest, especially if it's just inspired. I honestly thought, the more I thought about it, because honestly, this was going to be a full price until I had 2 days to really think about it and go, you know what? This movie would have benefited a lot more if there were just more, crazy shit going on, especially during that middle part. Even though I liked how it ended, I really thought at some point during the middle of the film, it did kind of slow down a bit, and that really stuck in my head. I thought they had a lot of potential to really just get this even crazier, but they didn't, and that's why I'm giving it a matinee.
I went the opposite way because when I was watching it, I felt like, it's like a high matinee. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? That's wrong. There was nothing in this movie I didn't enjoy. The whole way through, I was highly entertained. And I was like, I really can't think of anything about it I didn't like on the whole. It's a real solid, competent little film, and I got to give it a full price.
Yeah.
I
don't blame you. No.
Yeah,
go for it.
If it had 10, 20 more minutes of a naked woman, then sure, it'd be better than sex.
That too. That was kind of my other complaint too, because not enough naked chicks, and not. Honestly,
you can't get much more without being NC-17.
I would have liked to seen more how the business really started to thrive as far as.
Wait a minute, are we talking about an entertainment movie or a documentary?
What?
It's not like a how-to film.
Well, no, but the thing is, okay, I'll bring up Casino again, because in that movie, I thought they gave you enough information about Vegas and how it became what it is today, and eventually what happened after, where I really didn't get that with this film.
Now, wait a minute. Now, we just said it's not those movies. It's like those movies.
No, I know that. I know that, but I'm not talking about the performances or the story. I'm just talking about if I felt I felt like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit with the whole idea, with the whole evolution of the internet porn when they took it over, when they were working.
Well, because you have been an avid follower of internet porn, as have we all.
I was like, so what? Has Disney bought the internet porn now or something? I mean, what has happened to
internet
porn?
Sure, there was BBS's, and then there was like sites like Hardcore Junkie, and then there was the pay sites. But now we've got to the point like you don't even need to pay for porn anymore because you can go to Xvideo or anything.
Maybe I was more interested in the evolution of it too. I was hoping they would go a little bit more into that. Well, you'd like to see
the fall of the entire industry, but that hasn't. I can't. That hasn't happened. It's still like one of the most money-making industries in America.
Actually, there is something of a fall in as much as you said, there's so many different ways to see it for free.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. You would think, but it's still pulling in billions of dollars of profits every year, so it's obviously not hurting them that much.
Their paying those girls a lot less now.
They're what?
They're paying the girls a lot less.
Is that how it works out? So in the end, me going to the cheap porn sites is costing these poor innocent girls money.
But you know what? You got to think about it, though, because I always thought, well, anybody can be a porn star, obviously, these days, and everyone is trying to be a porn star these days. Even Lawrence Fishburne's daughter is going the route of.
You didn't hear about this?
Did you not hear about this?
She has a porn movie coming out.
And her statement is she's doing this only because Kim Kardashian did it, and it's made her career.
Isn't her name like Chippy D or something like that?
Yeah, Chippy D. Yeah,
that's like, oh my God. Crazy. What's sad is like I haven't seen any of the clips from it or anything, but I saw an interview with her about it where she was talking with the producer guy who's all like, money, looks like this is gonna be great, this is gonna be awesome, and she's just sitting there listening, and holy shit, she looks like Lawrence Fishburne.
We had no idea what the internet would become. Changing the world is a wild ride.